Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Arden Studios and welcome back to another YouTube video. And guys, in today's YouTube video, I'm going to be playing All-Star Tower Defense once again. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a while. I don't mean to make this intro too casual, but I do want to get straight to the point. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing how to know the best units to get in All-Star Tower Defense. Now, if that doesn't make any sense or I need to rephrase it, the point of today's video that I felt like making was a guide on basically what the best things to do are in order to get the best and most meta units in All-Star Tower Defense. Now, this is more oriented for newer players, but basically All-Star is constantly getting updates, and as more and more units get added, many units become obsolete. Now, the devs have been doing a lot of things to buff these units, but there are still evidently way better units and more meta units per se in All-Star, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So today I'm going to be giving you guys all of my advice on how do you guys figure out what the best units to get are at any different stage of the game. So basically what this means is it'll help anyone who's gone through the past updates, and you should be doing the same things when future updates get released in order to help you guys figure out the best units. So with that being said, this isn't a guide on what the best units are currently. It will tell you how to figure out the best units currently, but also give you a general formula that you can use for the future on how to always know what units to get. So with that being said, let's get straight into the video. And I did kind of preface this a second ago, but just remember this is very much a beginner-oriented guide, so if you guys already know a lot of the stuff in here, it does make sense, especially if you're an experienced player, but there might still definitely be a few tips in here for you, so keep watching. Okay guys, so first things first, whether you're a new ASTD player or an old one returning to the game, you always want to make sure you look at the wiki for All-Star Tower Defense and look at the wiki's tier list on what the best units are. Now, the wiki's tier list is oriented by the most meta units for Infinite Mode, but the majority of the All-Star fan base does either play for Story or Infinite Mode, so you're mainly going to want to be using these units either way. Now, if you go over to the wiki, there's going to be an S+ tier. This is going to be all of the most meta units for Infinite Mode to get you to the highest wave, and then there is going to be the S tier, and I much more heavily recommend the S tier for people that are definitely still newer and trying to get units to help them with the story over Infinite Mode. Now, there's a lot of S tier units that are just absolutely absurd and just as powerful, but they just aren't the absolute best, so the wiki places them lower than the S+ tiers. But what you're going to want to do first things first is go through the wiki, look at that tier list. Now, what you will probably find is that there are going to be some very hard to get 6 stars in the tier list, many of which require you to attain them from the World 2 banner, and if you are a newer player, you won't be able to get them, which is why I do recommend looking at the S tier first, figure out what the most achievable units are for you. Some great examples of easy to achieve units that are incredibly powerful are Genos and Todoroki 5-star. So as you guys can see in the gameplay footage in the background, I am currently using Genos just to get some waves and kills in Infinite Mode for the new event. So yes guys, these units are still incredibly good even as a high level player, and they aren't too hard to get, so you should be on the lookout for units like those. As the meta changes though, make sure to be on the lookout for wiki updates because they'll definitely help you know the new better units. Now, the second piece of advice, which I actually think is more crucial for me personally as someone who enjoys playing Infinite Mode more, and something that all of you guys should keep in mind, is that it is incredibly useful and important for you guys to look at the videos explaining the metas for different game modes. So personally, the best things I would look at is the video for the most recent highest Infinite waves, and the videos for the story mode runs of the latest world. Looking at those videos is going to let you know pretty much the best units to get in the game. Every single time there's major updates that I've missed out on because I've been taking a break from the game, I always come back and the first thing I do is look, okay, let's see, what's the new highest wave? Oh, people are getting to wave like 120 plus now. Let's see what loadouts they used, and just by doing that, I can quickly learn, okay, Deku 6-star is a really good new unit, there's a Killua 6-star, there's all these new different units that I should be checking out. So 100% guys, I highly recommend you go ahead and watch those videos on the most meta units in order to help you guys overall gameplay wise. And definitely strive to get those units, because they are going to be the best at any given point in time. Now, other than looking at the tier list to figure out what the best units are for you to get, and going over and looking at YouTube videos to figure out what the most meta units are, the only other tip I can really give you guys, which, keep in mind, big disclaimer, this is not always true. It is just generally somewhat true. And that is that the more recent a unit is, in terms of when it was released, the better it usually is. Now, this used to be much more true back in the day. Now, the creators have started adding more upgrades to old units. For example, I believe Zenitsu and Tanjiro both got some extra upgrades along with some other very old units. And with the creators adding those upgrades, I'm sure these units have completely changed. They're probably not nearly as obsolete as they used to be. But if a 5-star is a new release from a new update, it is probably going to be better than a 5-star from a long time ago, because most of those old units are only being buffed by orbs, and obviously orbs don't come with the initial unit. Those are separate things you have to get. So I would say, guys, if a brand new 5-star comes out in an update and you're torn between getting an older one versus a newer one, obviously you're first going to want to look up the stats on the wiki, but after looking at the stats, you should see that usually the newer unit is better. Again, don't just go off and get a unit just because it's new, but as they release new units, they usually adapt to the newer metas, making those units better. So those are going to be the main tips, guys. You're going to want to look at the wiki tier list. You're going to want to watch the videos for the most meta units for whatever your goal is, whether the video is going to be discussing the best units for story mode, the best units for damage grinding, etc. And that is going to be most of them. Now, the only last and final tip I can give you is, if you're a newer player, Bulma 5-star and Speedwagon 6-star are essential units. Of course, if you don't have access to World 2 yet, which is where you are going to get 6 stars like Speedwagon from the Z banner, then you are going to have to stick with Bulma 5-star first. But both of these guys are just so unbelievably important. It's crazy. Other really important meta units that I would recommend that will probably stay meta for a decent bit until Erwin hopefully gets a 6-star, you never know, are going to be Erwin, or Onwin as he's marked in the game. There's going to be units like BB6, and there's going to be units like Ichigo Dark, which is going to have an orb which allows it to slow units. But with that being said, that's just naming a few out of so many time stoppers, so many units you have to see, the guy from ReZero, everyone. With that being said, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, and I will see you all later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.